Hey there, amazing learners! Welcome to our journey into Filipino culture with the clever story, We Filipinos Are Mild Drinkers. Grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's dive into a story full of Filipino traditions, humor, and the unforgettable drink called lambanog. Let's dive into its literary analysis. To give us a clear overview, let us study the significant events in the story. Let us follow our witty Filipino narrator as he introduces Joe, an American soldier, to a little surprise in Filipino drinking culture of lambanog. First plot summary. Let's break down the story into the 5 parts of the plot. 1. Exposition. The story begins with a friendly conversation between our Filipino narrator and an American soldier he calls Joe, who's stationed in the Philippines. Joe's curiosity about Filipino customs leads him to ask if Filipinos drink alcohol. This question gives the narrator a chance to showcase Filipino culture, starting with a drink called lambanog. Second rising action. The narrator decides to introduce Joe to lambanog, a traditional Filipino drink made from coconut. With a wink, he describes it as a mild drink, which makes Joe confident he can handle it. The narrator pours Joe a drink, knowing that lambanog's strength will soon speak for itself. Third climax. Joe takes his first sip, expecting a mild drink, only to find it much stronger than he thought. The narrator's description of Filipinos as mild drinkers was part of a humorous trick, as Joe's reaction to the lambanog shows the gap between his expectations and the surprising reality. 4. Falling action. Determined to prove he can handle it, Joe keeps drinking but struggles more and more. He starts to act strangely, even asking the narrator to surrender and mistaking the narrator's old mother for a geisha. The narrator watches Joe's funny reactions, enjoying the humor of the situation. Fifth resolution. Eventually, Joe is overwhelmed by lambanog, collapsing from its strength. Barrio men approach to check on him, and the narrator gets some help to carry Joe, now fast asleep, back to his camp. The story closes with the narrator's amusement and pride in Filipino culture after Joe's humorous adventure with lambanog. Two. Setting, now. Let's step into the story's backdrop. A charming barrio in the Philippines where the story happened. The story takes place in a small barrio in the Philippines one afternoon. Surrounding the barrio are lush rice fields, where farmers are busy preparing the land for planting. The narrator lives in a modest hut made of nipa, a traditional Filipino building material. Inside the hut, the furnishings and decorations showcase Filipino culture and simplicity, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. 3. Characters. Let's meet the 2 main characters who make this cultural exchange both funny and memorable. 1. The narrator, a clever, humorous Filipino farmer who loves his culture. By calling lambanog a mild drink, he sets the stage for Joe's funny reactions, showing both Filipino hospitality and wit. 2. The American soldier, called Joe by the narrator. A curious, confident American who's eager to learn about Filipino customs, but is also a bit boastful about his drinking abilities. His open-minded attitude adds humor as he tries to keep up with the strong lambanog. Joe's eagerness to engage with the narrator highlights the clash between his expectations and the reality of Filipino drinking culture. 4. Conflict. A friendly clash of cultures makes the story fun. Type of conflict. External, man versus society. Cultural differences. The main conflict happens because of a misunderstanding between Joe and the narrator. Joe believes that Filipinos don't drink strong liquor and even calls lambanog jungle juice. However, he soon finds out that lambanog is much stronger than he thought. This shows the difference in their cultures. Joe's boastful attitude leads him to underestimate the drink, and he gets a surprise when he can't handle it. Fifth point of view. We see the story from the Filipino narrator's perspective, making it feel personal and engaging. The story is told from the first-person point of view of the Filipino narrator. This viewpoint makes the story feel personal and engaging. As the storyteller, the narrator gives detailed descriptions of his surroundings, like the lush rice fields and coconut trees in his barrio, and the inside of his nipa hut. He also describes Joe's funny reactions while drinking lambanog, showing how confused and drunk he becomes. 6. Theme. Now for the heart of the story. Its themes. 1. Cultural pride. The narrator's pride in his Filipino culture shines through when he introduces lambanog as a mild drink. This highlights his appreciation for Filipino traditions and values. His playful approach shows that he values his background while sharing it with others. He feels proud to welcome Joe into his humble nipa hut, showing confidence in his simple home. 2. Hospitality. The narrator embodies the essence of Filipino hospitality from the moment Joe arrives. He warmly welcomes him into his home, eager to share a drink and teach Joe about lambanog. Even when Joe becomes overly drunk and acts silly, the narrator remains patient and caring, ensuring Joe's safety by helping him get home. This warmth and generosity showcase the hospitality that Filipinos are known for. 7. Local color. The story is rich with details that make Filipino culture come alive. Let's see some of them. Calamansi chasers. Instead of lemons, the narrator uses calamansi, a Filipino citrus fruit, as a chaser. Lambanog. This traditional drink, made from coconut sap, highlights Filipino resourcefulness. Coconut shell cups. Lambanog is served in coconut shells, adding to the rustic feel of the setting. Nipa hut. The narrator's simple home represents the Filipino value of living close to nature. Bolo. The narrator's bolo knife, worn at his waist, reflects the practical lifestyle of Filipino farmers, showing readiness for daily challenges. Let's get into the highlight of our analysis, the story's socio-cultural background. But before that, let us delve into the relevance of socio-cultural context in analyzing literary texts. Socio-cultural context. The socio-cultural context means the social and cultural background of a story. It includes the beliefs, values, and traditions that shape how the characters act and relate to each other. To understand this story better, we can look at themes of the story, the local details that reflect culture in the story we are analyzing, and the values imbibed by the character. Here is the socio-cultural context of the story. We Filipinos Are Mild Drinkers was written during the American colonial period, after the Spanish-American War in 1898. Many American soldiers were present in the Philippines, leading to regular interactions with Filipinos. Lambanog, made from coconut sap, was one of the few alcoholic drinks available at that time and was popular in social events and celebrations. The story reflects Filipino culture, showcasing values of hospitality, warmth, wit, and humor. The narrator's playful introduction of lambanog as a mild drink illustrates how Filipinos handle cultural differences with friendliness and pride, while also showing their humility. Socio-cultural analysis of the story. The story We Filipinos Are Mild Drinkers captures the socio-cultural context of the Philippines during the American colonial period, a time when American soldiers frequently interacted with Filipinos, leading to exchanges of culture and practices. This story also revealed the warmth and hospitality of Filipino culture, as shown by the narrator as he welcomed Joe, the American soldier, in his nipa hut. The narrator introduces lambanog, a strong traditional drink, as mild, creating a humorous twist that plays on the Joe's assumptions that Filipinos do not drink hard liquor. This witty portrayal not only highlights Filipino humor, but also underscores values of hospitality and friendliness. The setting, especially the narrator's simple nipa hut, symbolizes Filipino pride in humble living, showing that true hospitality is rooted in warmth and genuine connection rather than material wealth. Overall, the story explores themes of cultural pride and cleverness, portraying how Filipinos use humor to bridge cultural differences, making their identity shine even in the face of foreign influence. To wrap this up, We Filipinos Are Mild Drinkers brings out the essence of Filipino identity during the American colonial period. Through humor, cultural pride, and genuine hospitality, the narrator's interaction with Joe highlights the beauty of Filipino culture. The story's playful nature and themes remind us that true hospitality is about making connections. So if you enjoyed this cultural journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know which other Filipino stories you'd love to explore. See you next time!